Hello, and welcome once again to Yoga for Kids and Their Adults. My name is Tony. I'm here at MeTime LLC, a massage and yoga studio here in Troy, Alabama. This program is sponsored in part by the Charles Henderson Child Health Center. They are a pediatric physician and dental office taking care of children from birth to age 19. They fund this program through a grant that they receive from the Children's Trust Fund, whose purpose is to prevent child abuse and neglect. So, welcome once again. I did take last week off because I had a horrendous sinus infection last week, but I'm feeling much better now, thank you. But I had noticed that my son was struggling with something that I'm pretty sure most children, somewhere around age 5, 6, or 7, might also struggle with. So I thought I might address that with. And that thing that he was struggling with was just being still. So, if you're one of those lucky children or even adults who are struggling with being still, then this is your episode. So what we're going to do is you're going to find a nice, comfortable position to sit in. It could be on your couch, on a chair, on the floor, sitting on your bed, maybe even laying down. And what we're going to do, and what we're going to do is we are going to practice being still by using a few exercises like breathing and imagery or even just some mindfulness to help you be comfortable being still. If you've ever been to an elementary school or middle school or even high school for that matter, you've probably noticed the kids are always moving. And if they're not moving, they're looking at their phone and their thumbs and their fingers are moving and their mouth's moving, but nothing's coming up. So, let's try to get comfortable being still. Once you're in your comfortable position, whether it's sitting down or laying down, with a cushion, without a cushion, with a blanket, without a blanket, today is your choice as to how you set up. So, once you are there, I'd like you to sit or lay down in a nice, comfortable position. All right, if you're sitting down, that means that your shoulders are over your hips and you are sitting upright. Your head is evenly balanced. It's not hanging to one side. It's not looking straight up or looking straight down. It's just kind of level. Okay, and what we're calling this is we're kind of call this a neutral posture. If you're laying down, you can lay down flat or you can put a cushion under your knees to take any stress or strain off of your lower back. If you're an adult, this means you. So go ahead and put that cushion under your knees. By now, you probably have been struggling with some low back tension or low back pain for a little bit. So this one's going to be for you. Put that cushion under your knees while you're laying flat. I'm sitting in an elevated, easy posture because this is very comfortable for me. I can easily sit up, eyes open or closed, and still, and still be comfortable holding that pose for a while. So if you're comfortable and you think you can hold this pose for a while, I invite you to first pay attention to your breathing. All right. As you know, when you breathe in, you're bringing air in through your head, whether it's your nose or your mouth. It goes back to the back of your throat, down your windpipe here, down into your lungs. It fills your lungs, and then you push out the waste gases like carbon dioxide, etc. And they come from your lungs up through your windpipe, up through the back of your throat, and out through the nose of the mouth. So, see if you can visualize, like see in your mind's eye, use your imagination like you are a particle of dust that you are breathing in, taking that ride all the way down into the lungs, and then riding all the way back up and out. Goodness. Excuse me. I don't mean to keep yawning. I apologize. So visualize that speck of dust, and you are surfing that speck of dust. You can do this with your eyes open or closed. It might be easier if they are closed. And just imagine that you're going up into the nostrils, down to the back of the throat, down through the windpipe or the trachea, breaking off, maybe going down into one of the lungs this trip, going down into one of the alveolar sacs, which is the itty bitty little sac where air kind of crosses over from being in the sac there and being in your blood. And then the blood deposits the waste gases, the carbon dioxide and all. And then you get to ride the carbon dioxide all the way up and out. Can you picture you're surfing, you're balancing? If you need to, you can raise your arms up and kind of surf in your seat. Or if you're laying down, you can bring your arms out and just kind of surf with your head. Can you visualize it? Can you see it in your imagination or your mind's eye? Good. Let's practice that for about 5 good, full, slow, deep breaths, okay? So breathe in and breathe out. Really visualize it as much detail as you can. Breathe in and breathe out. Here's a little speck. You're breathing in and breathe out. 2 more times. Breathe in and breathe out. 1 more time. Breathe in and breathe out. How do you feel? Was it easy the first time? Or did it get a little easier as you went along? It does get a little easier as you get along. You might still struggle with some wiggles or tickles or movements, or you gotta feel like you gotta move all over. I know my son does, and occasionally I do too. So if that happens, it's okay to give a slow wiggle. Get comfortable again in your own body. Okay? Let's do just a couple more breaths, and you can visualize whatever you'd like to. Maybe you're a speck of dust surfing the currents going in and out. Maybe you're a cliff diver, and you've gone up there and you're diving down with each inhale, and you're climbing up with each exhale. Whatever makes your mind happy. All right? Just visualize the breath as it goes in, and then visualize it coming out again. Maybe you're a mouth open kind of person. Maybe you want to breathe in and out through the mouth. Try that. How does that change what your mind sees? Which way did you like better? Mouth open or mouth closed? These are things to ponder. And look at that. You're being still. It's always nice to get comfortable being still. You do need to be still for many things, for school, car rides, waiting in line at the grocery store, tests, dinner. You need to be still to go to sleep, don't you? So there's all sorts of reasons that you might need to be still. And if you're sitting there moving around, then you're never going to get done what you need to get done at that time. Okay, so we've practiced our breathing. We've practiced some visualizations. How about we practice small, slow movements? As I was telling my son yesterday at karate practice, it takes a lot more strength and smarts to move slowly than it does to move fast. Did you know that? Give it a try. If you say, reach out and in. Did that take any thought at all? No. But if you reach out slowly, widening your fingers as you go, pointing your fingers out as you reach as far as you can, and then bring your hands together so that your palms are facing. That took a lot more thought, didn't it? Let's try that again. All right? Start with your palms together at heart center. And I want you to bring your hands up this time. So slowly and mindfully bring your hands up, all the way up as far as you can. until that's just as far as you can reach. And then bring your hands back down slowly and mindfully. Very good. Now let's tie our breath in with that, because our breathing does help us focus, doesn't it? So with our hands together, you're going to inhale and bring your hands up towards the sky, up towards the sky, as high as you can reach. And then exhale and bring your hands down, back to heart center. Very slow, very practiced, very precise. So, if you're having difficulty calming things down, focus on moving slowly. This time, bring your hands back to heart center. You're going to slowly separate your hands, letting your fingertips be the last thing to separate. And then reach those fingertips out to the sides, stretching as far as they can, like there's a tug of war between one wall and the other. In fact, go ahead and lean to your left. And then lean to your right. And then back upright. And let's bring our fingertips slowly and mindfully together, keeping your arms level with the ground. And once your fingertips have met, you slowly bring the rest of your hands together in prayer at heart center. Let's try that one more time, okay? So again, start with your hands at heart center. Bring your hands out. Let your fingertips be the last thing to separate. Lift your arms up level with the ground, and then slowly bring your fingertips out. All the way out as far as you can reach. And then lean to the left. And then back upright. And then lean to the right. And then back upright. There we go. Now bring your hands slowly towards the center. Try to keep them level with the ground until the fingertips meet. And then lower your arms as your hands come together in prayer at your heart center. See, moving slowly like that takes a lot more mind power and a lot more strength and coordination than moving very fast. Because if you move very fast, you're not really paying attention to every little detail, are you? In fact, if you move really fast without thinking about it, you could actually hurt yourself, and that's the last thing we would want to do. So, we've practiced our breathing, we've practiced some visualizations, we've practiced some slow, mindful movements. So now, let's try being still, not just in our body, but in our mind. Now, this is going to take a lot of practice. So what I'd like you to start with is an open mind, a passive attitude, and just start counting your breaths. Inhale, exhale. 1. Inhale, exhale. 2. And then there's a thought that just flits in. I wonder if I left the lights on in the garage. And then you realize that there's a thought that came in, and you put it on a shelf, and you go back to counting your breaths. 1. 2. I got a little itch. Oh, that's a thought. Pin it up, put it on the shelf, and then go back to counting your breaths, always starting back at 1. And the object here is to see how high you can count before another little thought comes in. Maybe you got a bit of the wiggles in you. So if you're trying to count your breaths and you're going 1, wiggle. I wiggled. Okay, put that aside. Go back to counting your breaths. Inhale. Exhale. 1. Try that for a few breaths. See how far you get. As you inhale and exhale, Thoughts are going to come. We can't stop them, but we can change how we respond to them. It's not something we need to jump on and go and do right now. What we can do is say, okay, you are a thought, and I do need to think on you. You are a very important thought. But once my time here in stillness is done, and then you go back to breathing. 1. 2. And pretty soon you're counting up to 5, 6, 20. It's an amazing thing to be able to see a thought as it's coming and then pin it up, put it on the shelf, and go back to what you were doing. Now, some people think, oh, if I put it on the shelf, I'm going to forget it. So, if that's your mind frame, remember, if it's important, it'll come back. If you absolutely must do something about it, keep a little notepad next to you and write it down. That way you can come back to it once you finish your time in stillness. Now, most of you out there have some sort of smart device with you, or at home at least. It could be a phone, or a tablet, or a smart TV, or a computer or a laptop or some kind of electronic gadget. Most of these have a timer feature in them. So what I would like you to try to practice between now and next week is to set your timer for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And for that 5 minutes, I want you to practice your stillness, whether it's breathing and visualizing that speck of dust as it travels all throughout the breath tract, or maybe it's that slow, mindful movement, or maybe it's just counting your breaths. 1. 2. And before you know it, you will be comfortable and calm being still. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. This is a very, very important skill to develop. That's being still, because it does not go away. And then once you're grown up and you have all these stresses coming at you from every direction, it's near impossible to feel like you can accomplish anything. You can't focus on anything. So if you can take this 5 minutes and be comfortable being still, you'll be surprised how well you can focus and deal with all of that stress after you've accomplished your stillness. Thank you very much for joining me. Again, my name is Tony. I am here at Me Time LLC, a massage and yoga studio here in Troy, Alabama. This program is sponsored in part by the Charles Henderson Child Health Center. They are a pediatric physician and dental office taking care of children from birth to age 19. They fund this through a grant that they receive from the Children's Trust Fund, whose purpose is to prevent child abuse and neglect. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed your stillness, and I hope you continue to be comfortable being still in mind and in body. I hope to see you again next week, where we start to explore some of the philosophy of yoga. And next week's topic is truth, being honest with yourself and others. Until then, be kind to yourself and others. Namaste.